We're starting energy in cells, right? I sure hope you'll take a look at the vocab for all that, because there's a lot of it from your self-evaluation. Okay? So our first learning target section is energy and enzymes. Okay, that is an enzyme, substrates, active site, products, all that stuff. Okay? So first learning target is we need to explain the second law of thermodynamics. Get out of here.
Go-karts!
Go-karts?
I was about to, I had to check the highlights and be like, oh, we lost, because I was going to wear my flag in the
Not only
library.
did you lose, but you sucked it up.
Oh, whatever. Get out of here.
Ready to go, Luke? Oh.
Alright. So, second law of thermodynamics first. Let's understand what thermodynamics is. Thermodynamics is the study of the flow and transfer of energy. So, as we start talking, we're going to be talking about thermodynamics a ton in this unit. That's what this is all about, okay? Now, energy is the ability to do work, right? We all have energy. We have to transfer energy from the food we eat to be able to walk, okay? Or even write on your notes, okay? So that is thermodynamics. Cellular respiration, photosynthesis, all has to do with thermodynamics. There are two laws, but we're going to talk about the second one. The second law of thermodynamics says energy cannot be converted without the loss of usable energy. So usually the loss is in heat energy, stuff like that. What's going on back there? Okay. So, right, the energy that is lost is generally thermal or heat energy. So as we're actually converting and we're transferring the energy from the food we eat into ATP, it's actually, we're losing energy. We're losing that heat energy is just being lost. Kind of stinks. Because if we were 100% efficient, we'd probably go wacko right now. Alright? But also, if you look at that picture, you see that the sun gives off, let's say, 100% of the energy in the world. That's really where we get all the energy is from the sun. Now plants, they can take in 10% of that. That's it. That's all they can use. And then once the mouse eats it, it can only use 10% of that. 10% of 10% is 1%, right? And then as the hawk eats the mouse, it gets 10% of 1%, which is 0.1%. So we're losing tons of energy as we're transferring that energy from one organism to the next. Okay? That is the second law of thermodynamics. Here's another part of that law. Entropy is the measure of disorder, right? That's in your vocab. So entropy is the measure of disorder or unusable energy. So all that unusable energy is called entropy. And you could also describe the second law of thermodynamics as a law that could also be stated as entropy increases. There's an increased amount of energy is lost. Okay? I know that slide was super boring. No picture. Sorry.
I like it a lot.
Oh, good. I'm glad you like it. All right. So, in your own words, explain the second law of thermodynamics. Anybody want to answer this question? Should we go through it one more time?
I did, but I forgot when I wrote. I think about it.
No? We got like 9 minutes left. Or else I would let you go, okay? All right. I just want to get through as much as we can. Sorry, guys. All right, learning target 2, explain how cells use glucose and ATP to transfer energy. All right, so first we need to know autotrophs are organisms that make their own food. So plants use the energy from the sun to make glucose, okay? So they'll actually change the sun energy into chemical energy, which is food, okay? And then heterotrophs need to ingest the food to obtain the energy. So animals eat the food to obtain the energy. You have to eat. So autotrophs make their food, heterotrophs have to eat their food. Right? Autotrophs make their food, heterotrophs eat their food. If you look, this flower says, I made this. Right? I made this food. And then the heterotroph comes along and just eats it, and the son's like, what?
Wait, no, I eat the food. I don't think this
Okay. So we are autotrophic or heterotrophic? We're heterotrophic. We have to eat food to get the energy we need. Okay? So plants are autotrophs. There's some bacteria that are actually autotrophs too. They'll actually make their own food. Okay. Hey Carson. How's it going? All right, now we also need to know about metabolism since we're going to be talking about how we break down our food. So all the chemical reactions in a cell is known as metabolism. Okay? That was one of your vocab words on the last thing. Okay? You need to know what metabolism is. Students from last year. All right. Does that make sense? Sure hope so. All the chemical reactions in a cell. We're going to be talking about a lot of them. Okay. Now, as we go through this, we have to talk about some pathways too. It's not just, oh, our glucose goes in our cell, it gets broken down, and that's it. Okay, there are different pathways in order for it to get broken down and made into ATP. So, catabolic pathways, they release energy by breaking down larger molecules into smaller molecules. This is what we do. We have catabolic reactions in our bodies that break it down and release energy. We also have some anabolic ones too, okay? But this is an exergonic reaction. Energy is released in an exergonic reaction. This is an exergonic reaction right here. Catabolic reaction. Uh-oh. Ian. Here you go. Immediately.
Oh,
Have fun.
so
I hope you're in trouble. All right. Yeah, here, just put it on front. Put it up there. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Yeah, just leave it right there. All right. So exergonic reactions is when energy is released. Also, catabolic reactions. So catabolic reactions and exergonic reactions are very similar. They're the same type of thing. Okay. You're gonna think of exergonic as energy is exiting, right? It's being exited. So releasing energy. Now anabolic reaction is the opposite. This is an anabolic reaction. We have to use energy, okay, to put smaller molecules back together. That make sense? That's an anabolic reaction. We're not talking about anabolic steroids. Okay, we're talking about reaction. Okay, and that is an endergonic reaction. Does that make sense? You're putting energy in. It's endergonic. Or endergonic, right? You could say endergonic, I don't care. And photosynthesis does that because it has to build the sugar molecules. Okay? We also have to do that a little bit to make ATP. We have to have a little bit of an endergonic reaction. All right. Any questions so far? This is the easy part of this unit. I'll just tell you that much. Okay? Okay, now let's look at glucose. We've already looked at it before, right? We've seen this picture before. Now, glucose stores energy in the bonds, and the bonds get broken down by a catabolic pathway. Okay? So this is the first step of cellular respiration of the catabolic pathway. You have to break this down into smaller molecules. That's why it's catabolic, and that's exergonic, right? We're getting energy out of it. Okay? Now ATP, the energy that is released by the breakdown of